She has a right to fight for election and she got it. Said she didn't go through, what's it called, the induction because she came through the cross process. But she's been in this house for a while. She's pushed bills forward. She's gone on foreign trips. With even you, the Senate president, which we see. So it's now because she was speaking based on privileges, which she wanted to be heard, and now you are now saying this against her. At first, you are berating her. You are denigrating her. We must say no to what is being said to women. Then his own legislative aide now went on a tirade on social media. Rufai said all sorts. Is Rufai sexualizing Natasha? Why will he say that, oh, transparent clothes? So is he imagining Natasha in transparent clothes?
Senator Akpabio of attempted rape. Is that the point you are making? Or sexual harassment?
Harassment sounds better, not rape.
Okay, so you are accusing him expressly of sexual harassment?
Yes, I am accusing him.
Guys, to those of you who don't know the real person of Akpabio, this video will help you to know him better, to know a man, with such detestable character that Pablo Escobar made your Senate president. All right. Now, in this video, Rufai, let me say this in pidgin English. Rufai, you understand? He don't talk him. He say Akpabio. If they sexualize, you understand? And they try code this way. They try, you understand, sexualize Natasha. You get it? Number two, another woman came out to also accuse Akpabio of safety, until you both they call sexual harassment. I beg, as you are watching this video, please just be liking it, be sharing so that the world will know the kind of leaders we have at the corridors of power, and the reason why the country can't move forward under such people, you understand, occupying sensitive position, can't move forward. And that was what this guy said of this Bitcoin. You understand, that Bitcoin leader that they arrested in Abuja recently. He said the leaders, they are the problem of the country. That's why the country can never move forward. When he was accusing Ribadu. Okay, let me stop here, please. This video is just too sweet, too interesting. Watch it to the end, and please like it and share it as much as you can. Thank you.
The senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, on Tuesday filed a 100 billion naira defamation suit against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The lawsuit follows last week's controversy over seating arrangements in the Senate, leading to Senator Natasha facing disciplinary review by the Senate's Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions. In the suit filed at the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Akpoti-Uduaghan alleged that Akpabio and his legislative aide, Mfong Patrick, made defamatory comments against her. I know, Rufai, you have seen this lawsuit, by Natasha, and there was a part in the lawsuit where, Natasha talked about the legislative aide to Akpabio and from Patrick making those defamatory remarks, where he wrote on Facebook, is local content committee of the Senate Natasha's best right? And then he went on to state that it is a bottled anger by the lawmaker who knows nothing about legislative rules. She thinks being a lawmaker is all about pancaking her face and wearing transparent outfits to the chambers. They found that comment defamatory, provocative, disparaging, lowering in dignity and estimation of Natasha in the eyes of her colleagues and right-thinking members of the public. That was part of the lawsuit. Akpoti-Uduaghan has asked the court to compel the respondents to withdraw the defamatory comments and apologize to her using a national newspaper. Usually it's like a lot of newspapers, but you see these sort of remarks, especially against women. I'm going to play the gender card here because I don't understand what pancake has to do with anything, or wearing transparent clothes. How dare you make such comments against a senator? I think that this actual defamatory lawsuit is quite on point. Well, in the meantime, the disciplinary committee was given 2 weeks to submit its finding, with potential implications for Akpoti-Uduaghan's standing. Senate President Godswill Akpabio during plenary suggested that her unfamiliarity with the Senate procedures contributed to the controversy.
I think part of the problem is when people come from court declared senators, they missed the orientation. The management of the National Assembly is hereby ordered to organize periodic orientation, particularly for senators who are midstreamers, who came midstream and did not start when their colleagues started. Because I remember that this particular senator, on the day she was sworn in, raised her hand to speak. I was scared, but I had to recognize her because I was saying, you just gave her the rule book. Part of what we give to you when you are sworn in is a standing order of the Senate. So I said, has she even opened the rule book to know what she's going to say? But she made the contribution on that day. I think 2 days later, she brought a motion. There's nothing wrong in being vibrant, but there's a lot wrong when you don't know anything about the procedure. You can't be a reverend father and go and start the church service with communion. You must lay foundation.
That was quite an assumption by the Senate president that Natasha didn't know anything about the rule book before she,
due respect,
came in.
This Senate president, the way he speaks, only God knows. Berating her, he said that's the problem when people come through the court process. She has a right to fight for election and she got it. Said she didn't go through the induction because she came through the cross process, but she's been in this house for a while. She's pushed bills forward. She's gone on foreign trips with even you, the Senate president, which we see. So it's now because she was speaking based on privileges, which she wanted to be heard, and now you are now saying this against her. At first, you are berating her. You are denigrating her. We must say no to what is being said to women. Then, his own legislative aide now went on a tirade on social media. Rufai said all sorts. Is Rufai sexualizing Natasha? Why will he say that, transparent clothes? So is he imagining Natasha in transparent clothes? Natasha in transparent clothes? Why would that even come to a legislative aid?
It's quite uncalled for.
Then you say pancake. So that means you're objectifying the woman. So what you also mean in very big is that Natasha has no brain. This is a qualified lawyer. That's only pancake she knows how to rub. I hear he's been trying to lie. You know, when people do things and you slam them, they will lie that their page was hacked. Because Rufai also went attacking me because I stood up. And I will stand up for Natasha. The world should hear it. The truth is, there's constantly been a tiff between both of them. And it's not only Natasha, they've treated the other female senator, Senator Rutila Kingibe, that same way. They can quote the law about position and seats and all of that, but also there's a right of privilege when you have to be heard, when you stand on an order. When Akpabio, did his, the Saraki subject him to this. Anyway, we've already had intelligence report that they were going to submit that to the disciplinary committee and all of that. We will see. Yeah. They should not forget, there's already a court judgment as regards suspension. So you can't suspend the people of Kogi. Like all the senators gather at the back. I also hear, anyway, they've debunked the story that's fake news. I also hear they were trying to call, Brekete. Why did he grant, I've heard it's fake news. But see, Natasha, we'll keep saying it here.
Right.
Because when you did your own, even yours was even worse than this. Yeah. Nobody was high-handed. All right. Learn to respect women. Enough of all of this. Well, even in the statement, he even still showed. So because Natasha came through a court process, which he fought for a case,
so she was familiar with.
So does it mean she's not familiar? And she's been in the Senate for how many months now?
Well,
so we should stop all of this. We know what's going on. I stand 1,000% with Natasha Akpabio.
All right. Well, she's been subjected to that disciplinary committee, but you know there's been more reactions. Let me just take Senator Shehu Sani's tweet. He wrote, "It's the responsibility of the opposition senators from the PDP, LP, and NNPP to intervene and prevent the Akpabio Natasha rift from further deteriorating, disciplinary committee can only lead to suspension, and that's a senator speaking.
Yes.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Really
All right, thank you. And good one there. Senator Shehu Sani is a former senator, so he's speaking from experience.
Yes.
And he's saying that, yes, I agree with him that the voice of the opposition is quite loud.
Yeah.
The silence, of the opposition is quite loud in this instance. In fact, I was quite embarrassed to hear that other Kogi State senators were apologizing on their behalf. And all of them are men, by the way. So they were saying that, they were sorry. In fact, one of the men who was apologizing resisted or opposed the bill on violence against persons. So you can understand the background.
But
in terms of,
you didn't.
No, they were apologizing for her behavior on
Yeah.
her behalf. She didn't ask them to. I'm just saying that how the voice of the opposition, the silence is really loud at this time. Also, I must say that the voice of women in Nigeria, women groups, women leaders, fellow leaders, also their silence is very loud as well. Yes, you can, to be objective, they say that yes, they have rules, and in fact, they say this defamation suit against the Senate president might be a bit watery because there are certain privileges that are exclusive to senators. And even she herself said it during a radio interview, that there are certain things that happen within the House that they cannot be judged by, outside personnel. That's also separation of powers, legislature, judiciary, and the executive. However, it must be said that this culture of speaking to women and disrespecting and dishonoring women in public offices must end in Nigeria.
Must.
And the Senate president, by virtue of his office, must lead this charge.
Yes.
It is embarrassing and disgraceful to imagine that women who are elected, by the way, the numbers have decreased, and you can now understand why.
Yes,
if a lot of the women who are being encouraged to come into politics, and a lot of campaign is done around this, are not encouraged to serve because when they get in there, they are at best second-class citizens, where they have to be reminded that they have husbands at home. Can you talk to your husband like this? Where they have to be reminded that, you cannot talk in that way. She exercised her right. And in terms of understanding the position of a senator, how many voices of the other men, we have 109 senators, don't we, in the House? How many of them have we heard their voices or have passed a bill or transmitted a bill as Senator Natasha has done?
Right.
She has served her people well. She worked hard, and we all saw the journey to emerging as senator to get this seat.
Right.
It was meritorious.
Right.
And so I think she should be accorded the same respect as every senator should be respected. And very importantly, women's voices should be heard.
Professor Kila, I wanted your opinion on this subject as well. I mean, I hope that this case will set some sort of precedent as to decorum and why decorum is important. Because, I mean, as much as we are saying that, the Senate president should have done this, I think also the Natasha Akpabio could have also restrained herself during the process. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I totally agree with you. And let me start by saying that Shehu Sani's tweet reflects what we said here 2 or 3 days ago. When I say when this kind of thing happens, the first thing that comes to mind is where is the opposition? And indeed, where are the men and women of goodwill? Goodwill not to take a side, but to say this is right or this is wrong, and to see a way to move forward in decorum way. Because the whole point is that if you are in this hallowed chamber, red chamber, they call them distinguished, and they behave in ways that are not distinguished, it is worrisome for the country. I think all legislators should learn the rules, but above all, those who chair proceedings should understand that they have a bigger duty of maintaining not just decorum, but proceedings. When somebody says somebody does not know the rule, actually, let me not say someone, let me call name. When Akpabio says somebody else doesn't know the rule, there's a flaw there. Let me give 1 second lesson on legislative procedure. The duty of the chair of any legislative sitting, the main duty is to allow the process to flow. That is your main interest. So you must find the way. If somebody is in the wrong position, you let them talk and you overrule them. If somebody is doing the wrong thing, you hear them out, then you cover it out. But I think it's important for everybody to understand these rules, and the public as well. And by the way, if they're doing this to women, and they say women are not in places, I blame voters, not the people there. If you truly want women anywhere, vote for them. There's some very simple thing to do. So women are voters.
Sent messages that they are strategizing and they are standing by her and supporting her. I recall the first time that he said she was a club girl. They came out to speak on her behalf. So it's really good to hear that.
And he only apologized because
Couple Women Foundation.
A particular blog released a list of women close to him.
I remember that story. Well, as much as we call for, this sort of rancor not to occur in the House of the Senate, we should also call for proper legislation to protect women especially.
Simplicity.
Reactions have been trailing the Arise News interview with the former acting managing director, interim management committee of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Joy Nunye, in which she alleged that the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Akpabio, sexually harassed her. Ms. Nunye, among other allegations, claimed to be the only woman who had slapped the minister. Let's take a look at that video before we take some reactions.
The only Ogoni woman, the only Nigerian woman that has slapped his face.
Why did you slap him? Why did you slap him?
He slapped him because of his plan B. He thought that he could, since he couldn't get me to take that money, he thought that plan B, if it could come up on me. He didn't know that I'm a Port Harcourt girl. Port Harcourt girls are not moved by money, by somebody telling me that you make me a substantive MD. The Port Harcourt girls are.
Can we clarify this? Because we can't gloss over a slap. What is the plan B? He came up on you. What exactly does that mean?
We were having a meeting. Akpabio's meeting with me is either in Apple or at Meridian or whatever. Those are his meetings. I slapped him.
Well, Joy, are you accusing Senator Akpabio of attempted rape? Is that the point you are making? Or sexual harassment?
Harassment sounds better, not rape.
Okay, so you are accusing him expressly of sexual harassment?
Yes, I am accusing him.
I cannot get over that question. Why did you slap him? I had to ask. That was a punching question. And you, Dr. Abati, you clarified the way so she can claim that she was sexually harassed, right?
Right out to the police. Then you come and all of you come. Can you point that in the future? Excellency, I thank for their arrest warrant. Yes, out. Arrest warrant. Out. All of you out. What kind of society are we?
Early this morning, about 4 o'clock, I hear people were around my gate. I made some calls. I tried to reach the governor because he had told me that if I saw any strange movements, I should alert him since he issued the statement. So I tried to reach him. The phones were off, and then so I called some people. They said they might not be real policemen, so I should stay. They said they came to take me away. I said, for what? Do they have a warrant of arrest? They said no warrant of arrest. So I left it. About 6 o'clock, they broke the gate. And later, Senator Magnus Abe now called me that he had reached the Commissioner of Police, who said he didn't know anything about it. So the CP called me. I sent him my address. He came. They told me the CP was downstairs. The CP wasn't down, but I think he's the Deputy Commissioner of Police. So I opened the door. They wanted to grab me. I now pushed back the door and locked it and went upstairs, got through to my governor. They tried to break the back door. It's a security door, so they kept hitting it for over 1 hour and they couldn't get access. So my governor came, asked them for the warrant of arrest, and why couldn't they invite me to the police, that I would have come instead of going to take a woman like a criminal. So the governor took me in his car, and here I'm refugee in the government house. But I want to thank His Excellency for keeping to his word that nothing should happen to the daughter of Rivers State. So here I am in the government house, and that's all. I was supposed to be going today to Abuja to make my submission before the House of Representatives, the committee. I'm sure it's about that. Meanwhile, the man that harassed me is at home. The man who stole the money is at home. The man who stole government files is at home. The man who took money is at home. The man who said I should go and take an oath is at home. It's a criminal offense. It's life imprisonment to take oaths, to even give to me, to even offer me an oath. It's liable. So I'm here.
So now that you're here, what options are you resorting?
Well, I'm sure my lawyers would be working on it as we speak. But
do you really feel safe now?
I feel very safe in the government house.
And not just government house now.
Oh, no, I don't think Akpabio can't kill me. Definitely, he can't. He can't. This is not, I'm not from Uyo now. He can't kill me. And why do people think he has the monopoly of violence?
But what really is the issue about?
I think he wanted to stop me from giving my submission today. He succeeded, but I'm sure the House of Reps will give me another day. And Nigerians will hear more. I had stopped talking. I just wanted to make my submissions and then go away. But with this, And they say wise men who refuse to do anything suffer the rule of idiots. So thank you.